It is Sunday, October the 12th. The year is 2014, and the hour is 9:35 p.m. Central Standard Times here in the deep piney woods of East Texas. It has come to the point that this is literally going to be my digital diary. If you'd like to stop in from time to time and see what happened to me on this given day preceding this moment, and whatever's on my mind for about, I'm going to try to do 15 to 30 minutes max, and just see if any of this stuff's happening to you, and if so, get in touch with me. We find out a whole lot of people are doing the same. We might have something there. And that's what I'm on. I'm just making points of possibly logging in things happening to me that I can go back to and later in life and look at, and maybe you can too. I do a lot of coast to coast. Last night it was very, very good coast to coast. You can go to coast to coast and go to recent shows, and it will show you, it'll bring you up some. I didn't watch last night's, that was the angel therapy thing, but this one was absolutely incredible. Good one. Even though it's got weird things in there, like Ouija board and what have you, but cold fusion breakthroughs, bypass this one here and listen to this. And when you get to listening to this Martina Ruthblatt, this is the person that's transvestite. I'm telling you straight up. Let me just get over. But you get way past this transvestite business when you start listening to her talk. Created satellite TV. I mean, the what you call it, Sirius Radio, and all that. This person, and talk, and you can listen to some things over on Coast to Coast. That's what it is. You can listen to. I did. I listened to these things here from that lady on Coast to Coast in this cold fusion. And the front half of this thing right here has got. Well, let me just play a little bit of this business for you. How do I do this? Cold fusion. Oh, it's just unreal. We'll listen to it on the Coast to Coast player, and I keep my time. Gonna watch my time because it's time management for myself. I'm gonna get right on past, go right into about along in here. It doesn't matter where you go. Listen.
Elements going into it were changed. So the ratio of isotope starting were different than at the end.
So there is no radiation with cold fusion, is there?
No radiation whatsoever in this process, either before, during, or after. And so it's a very clean, safe technology.
Why has it been so controversial, Sterling?
Well, I actually go to the Men in Black theory on that. I believe, the people who basically gave it a bad rap were from MIT, and they had a vested interest. They should have recused themselves because they were involved in this billion-dollar tokamak project and had a lot of money coming to their school, which would have dried up had cold fusion taken off.
So I saw a movie several years ago. Morgan Freeman was involved in it, and it was a movie about cold fusion. I remember that. And they had it in some building, and they were experimenting and playing with it and everything else. Why is it taking so long, Sterling?
So you can see that was very interesting. Listen to that. We'll listen to the whole thing, and you can do that by subscribing over here to this outfit, George Norley's deal. And I have it, just a unbelievable place. Anyway, today I was sitting around and I logged in a bunch of YouTubes that I have been watching. This one is this Harvey Orgon. He is talking about look at this mess. It doesn't even right now. I'm getting jaded to every bit of it. Now, y'all remember when Alex Baldwin, he was the big Obama guy and the liberal and what have you. Listen to this cat.
Political power. The government gets elected and says, we're going to go do whatever we want to do. They've transferred that to this kind of Roman Colosseum connection to the tabloid media. Thumbs up and thumbs down to public figures and so forth, and it has no political efficacy. But
he has totally made a flip-flop. He is now, sounds to me like conspiracy theorist character, just like everybody else. But you can go through this. It's an absolute mess. The Ebola deal, I tell you what, it's real. Ebola is real. There's people dying here in the U.S. from a disease. Ebola, they do believe. There's many different types of, or do a lot of studying I have, and Ebola has very distinct characteristics. Your insides turn to jello. You do bleed through the eyes or anywhere small capillaries, what have you. These people are walking around, but what a tool to soften it. And you know, I have to think. I've got kids. I have to think that what if they are, for crying out loud. And look at this. None of this stuff makes any sense, period. None of it. None of this stuff makes sense. Why people are doing the things that they do. You get a little bit of hope when you're listening to C-SPAN or something, and one of those people up there says something that sounds like what we'd say if we could just get our hands on who's in charge. You know what I mean? And we'd have a sit-down talk and say, well, stop and just think about going over to another country. That's like they're coming over here, coming down to East Texas, invade East Texas to get our oil, because they think we're going to have Ebola. Come to help us with the Ebola, but we're going to have to take over your finances while we're here. And all your natural resources. We're here to help. How do you think? I'll tell you what would happen down here, and I believe that's why we got, many of us down here feel that's why we got chosen, if you will. I heard Minnesota's up in Brainerd or somewhere like that. Brain something. They got another case up there in Minnesota. We'll look over here. Oh Lord. Oh, here's Facebook. Continuing on, what we got? It just pops in and out. Used to spend a lot of time over here. Hardly spend any time now. There's Lucy. That's my stepdaughter. Look here. There's Laura. Laura looks like she did her hair a little bit whiter. Something. Oh Laura. Alright, let's go over here. Truth frequency. Oh goodness. Let's see who's on. Agnew. I like Brooks. Listen, let's see what he's doing.
Is a possibility. Even if the authorities don't intend to offer any serious concessions in the promised talks with student leaders that have helped persuade them to scale down the demonstrations, a peaceful outcome to the protest would effectively mean they succeeded in carving open unprecedented space for nonviolent civil disobedience in a territory that remains part of Beijing's domain. Big, big victory for the young people of Hong Kong. My hat is off to you. Wish we could do the same thing in our country. Maya Wang of success of the current protests.
I hit the wrong button. Let me do this.
We need a different measure here. These protesters are young. Most of them are underage.
Sounds like we need to give a big congrats out to the young people over in Beijing. Looks like that they're standing up for natural law. That's what we're going to have to get back to, people. These people have gone wild, hog wild. And it's gotten to where it's so bizarre, you know. Now, don't you think he's wishing he's in the limelight more? Because the further he gets away from the limelight, there's those critters right outside of the gate. Just like on that movie I watched about an hour ago with my son. That had been the movie in a long time. It's something called Runner. Oh, gosh. What a mess. What a place, a fertile place to put thoughts in people's heads. Is those magnificently created movies they got going on now. Serious stuff. Anyway, y'all heard what they're talking and thinking about there. Let's get now. Here's the one. Stand by. No telling what they got going on over here at RBN. Let's listen.
The upper hand on conventional medical treatments. Now more than ever, there's a great need for a product that will help protect us. Look no further. Supernatural Silver can provide immune system support to help fight off these deadly pathogens.
We'll listen in just a second.
Supernatural Silver is a new and vastly improved type of
It's all about what
silver
they're
solution
thinking
that's safe
about.
and extremely effective against 143 types of bacteria, both forms of viruses, mold, and yeast. Supernatural Silver can be taken orally or used topically and can be used in a nebulizer or vaporizer for inhalation. With over 180 scientific studies by independent universities, hospitals, and research institutions, Supernatural Silver is a powerful weapon against disease. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code SILVER2014 for 20% off your entire order.
I want to test this right now to see if when I stop it, if it's a loop, if we're doing recorded, because it'll come right back to that same spot if I turn it back on. Did y'all see this float by? Where did I see that cold fusion thing? Right there. We were just talking about this. This is what I call a marker or a mirror, a validator. We were just talking about cold fusion just moments ago, and they've got it headlined over here on RBN. republicbroadcasting.org. I like that. Let's see if it's live. Just a minute. Let me pull it up.
System, an everyday stem cell supplement, creating
Recorded.
the
We're
birth of
listening to
StemGevity.
this, though.
StemGevity stem cell mobilization formula is for use by men, women, and children of all ages to support your body's stem cell system naturally, quickly, and safely. StemGevity helps support your heart and circulatory system, bones and joints, liver, skin, brain, and much more. Order your bottle now at StemGevity.com today. That's StemGevity. StemGevity.com. Or call now toll free 800-300-1063. Buy 2 bottles and receive a 3rd bottle free by mentioning RBN. Anyone who wants to get healthy needs StemGevity.
Okay.
Call 800-300-1063 today.
After work, I'm so tired that
I can't handle it. I can't handle it. And that's another thing. I know people need to, and I'm one, we need things to get by. I just wish that we could do fair exchanges of value. There's a concept down the road that I'm going to look at. Let's get on with this thing right here. Folks, I want to tell you, I say, folks, I'm doing this for myself, but I might have 3 or 4 listeners. Come back over here and take a look. Tell your people about this. This is serious. I'm fixing to get into something that I think needs to be told. I am of the firm opinion. It is my truth that we do get exactly what we're thinking about. And that every single thought that you have has the power within it to literally change the world that we know it. Every single thought that you revisit doubles in power to be the thought that changes the entire world. Continue to build on that thought, and then you'll draw attention spiritually, mentally, telling someone, they hear you, whatever, and then they may join with you and support you in your thinking about this. Whatever it is, it does not make any difference what it is. Nothing. It doesn't make any difference, because whatever you're thinking about could change the world as we know it. And I want you to pay close attention to what makes this thing move, people. I want you to become aware of this and start becoming sensitive to it. Because when you do become sensitive, we can change this. because once other people become aware of they're after that, then you realize that we're doing it to ourselves. And you'll notice that they go to no extreme, bar none, death included, to gain this from you. And that's your attention. That's what you're thinking about. That's your next thought. Because if they can focus you on your next thought being influenced, they call it trying to sell something. They call it campaigning. You can call it whatever. If you're trying to allure, or if you're faced with anything that's going to compete for your attention, you need to take heed of that. Because we create what we think about. Look at what we're thinking about the majority of the time. Just look at the stuff that we're thinking about. The majority of the time. They want us to think about these things. Look at all of us thinking about this stuff right now. Very few people will be tuning in for real information from people who want to let you know and let us all know of what's really going on out there. Strange as some of these topics may be, turn on the nightly news, or I suggest that you don't. I would suggest that you think about something else. And yes, without question, we should be aware of what's going on. I'm going to do my part by having this something like this, and I'm at 17 minutes right now, and I'm going to try to keep them under 30. Try to compress them down to about 15, between 15 and 30, but I'm burning daylight right now. It is imperative that we become aware of how to get the monkey of fear off of our backs when it comes to this Ebola thing going on here. All this Ebola. Valid reason to be aware. Invalid feeling or internalization to have fear. I'm studying to no length about Ebola. And I have found that this gentleman right here is a cardiologist, well written, well spoken, and well known cardiologist that will tell you how that vitamin C can stave off any virus, including the Big E. He's done it, and he can say he's done it. He's a doctor. And he's speaking out, and there is a regimen of vitamin C that you can take and basically eradicate any future virus like Ebola. Marburg, influenza, Lyme's disease, any of those. I'm going to be researching that deeply. There's a means by which you can take vitamin C and you can encapsulate it. It's called LIT, liposomal encapsulated vitamin C. It increases the amount of vitamin C to actually become available. That means both in the bloodstream and inside the interior of your cells themselves. Documented when doctors would turn away from things like Ebola, and yet the families would push to have them get them on massive mega doses of vitamin C and brought them back. And the doctor will tell you the thing to do is be ready now. Start fortifying your body with ascorbic acid. Raise your levels up, because we're fighting so many toxins now, is that our natural supply is not enough. And listen closely to Bob Gilpatrick Boomer Boost. Dear friend of mine, you can hear him speak this coming Saturday on Phoenix Rising Radio. Just be aware and be prepared. That's real hard for me to say, because I know a lot of people don't have means by which to get prepared. We're working on it. This doctor here, this encapsulation process is very simple. You can do it at home, and you can be, if worst case scenarios came down and there was no food or water or things like that, you could be at least a little purifier, and then you could have the means by which to make medicine, if you will, or a concoction that will save your life, or could, if dosed properly. As Dr. Livy will say, dose vitamin C. That's what I've been doing today. Have a very been deeply involved with the solar industry. A dear friend of mine, Kevin, he's out in California now, and I tell you, for the entry into the digital library diary, we faced about every challenge you can possibly see, and we still got our head up above water. Did a massive, well, I'd say a massive, we did an advertising campaign that didn't attract hardly anything, and it was what I would have considered the absolute best of best. Didn't pull. We still know we're in the right area. It's just finding that key, and we're going to be doing that this week. Everybody stay safe. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eye on the prize. And for goodness gracious, be aware of what you're thinking about. Jedi 1, we down.